Zsa Zsa hits back, a special edition of A Current Affair. The judge sentences Zsa Zsa. Go to jail, see her shrink, pay $12,000 in fines, quit talking to the press. He threw the book at her and hit her with some harsh words.
She has demonstrated an attitude continually of contempt for law and order and these proceedings, without a hint of remorse or contrition of any kind. I have no concerns about her health, and I don't think age with regard to Ms. Gabor is a factor, because she does comport herself as a person who's much younger in age. Now, it's clear to me, Ms. Gabor, that throughout you've had an ulterior motive in this trial. And you abuse the legal system and the taxpayers who support it by milking this case for publicity. If I were to let emotions enter into this, Ms. Gabor, I can assure you that you'd be sentenced to a far longer time in county jail. Now, you laugh, Ms. Gabor, but let me explain something to you. All right.
Now, Zsa Zsa strikes back. Tonight, A Current Affair comes direct from the living room of the glamorous Gabor. Zsa Zsa cuts loose, a worldwide exclusive. Zsa Zsa's Revenge.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maury Povich, and welcome to A Current Affair. Well, yesterday, the place to be, I guess, was in that courthouse in Beverly Hills. Today, the place to be is with Zsa Zsa Gabor. As the reporter for the Los Angeles Times wrote this morning, it is the climax of the slap heard round the world. And we are with Zsa Zsa Gabor at her home in Bel Air. Nice to have you with us, Zsa Zsa. You look gorgeous. You look none the worse for wear.
I didn't wear so much. I think the judge wore, because after he got through his sentencing, he looked like somebody needs a blood transfusion.
We have a lot to say, because the judge had his say yesterday. You will have your say today here on A Current Affair. But first, let's get everyone caught up. Our Gordon Elliott with a background report on everything that's happened the last few months.
It was June 14th. You were driving your Rolls-Royce in Beverly Hills when a 6-foot-tall police officer, Paul Kramer, stopped you. When he saw that your driver's license had expired, he asked you to get out of the car. Heated words flew, and you slapped him.
They put the cuffs on me, and then he kicked me, and then he made me sit in a short skirt on the floor. My skirt was high up, and I said, "Officer," and he didn't take off the handcuffs.
And while you waited for trial, we at A Current Affair accompanied you for your driver's test to get a new license. You did well, getting only 3 questions wrong.
You mirrored do both of the above. Oh, I see you only chose one, and the answer was both.
Yeah, well, of course, I thought you're only allowed to do one.
Then, in early September, your trial began. They called it a media circus.
Why wasn't your Rolls Royce here? So what's the worst you expect to happen? Have you been told what the taxpayers are?
But a sober judge, Charles Rubin, called the proceedings to order.
People versus Zsa Zsa Gabor.
And your lawyer stood up for you.
Enter a plea of not guilty for my client.
And so did your friend.
This cop, I totally condone her. In fact, I think he got off easy. I would have given him the knee, if you know what I mean.
But the trial itself was no laughing matter. In court, that is. You stood up to the tall Beverly Hills cop and demonstrated how you slapped him. You told your tale of abuse at the hands of the law. On September 29th, you were convicted by a Beverly Hills jury of peers. And yesterday, you heard the sentence. 3 days in jail, a hefty fine, community service, probation.
I don't know what probation means.
Probation means that for the next 24 months, if you do not do all of the things which I listed, and if you have any question about them, you're free to come to the court, or your attorney can explain them to you. You can go to jail for up to approximately 18 months.
And he told you to visit a shrink. But perhaps the most bitter pill you had to swallow was public humiliation by the judge.
Let me tell you how I view this, Ms. Gabor. I view that you conducted yourself outside this courtroom with a continuing public tantrum. And it's time for you to stop it, and for you to behave like the lady that you so repeatedly say you are.
All right. And you said, of course, after he said that to behave like a lady, that you were a lady.
I have always been a lady. Well, he's married to a lady. He's a fashion designer. I don't know her. They say she's very pretty. She's blonde. She's probably a lady.
All right. Now, do you feel at all remorseful?
For what? That I was beaten half to death by a 6'4" macho policeman, because my driver's license was expired. I was self-defending myself. He hurt my hand. He pushed my bracelet, diamond bracelet, in my hand, deep. And he said, you effing H, whore, get out of the car. I said, officer, you're hurting me. He says, like F, I'm going to break your arms. And so that's when I slapped him. No man, not the King of England, nobody, no Mr. Ira Reiner, no one will talk to me like that ever.
All right, Ira Reiner is the DA, and we'll talk about him a little bit later on.
That's
But you don't seem contrite at all.
What does contrite mean?
Apologetic.
For what? I think whole America, not America, but Beverly Hills, owes me an apology. I tried to fight for the battered women. They wanted to settle with me. They said I should sign that I'm guilty, and then I am going to get 100 hours. I work for the poor anyhow. I work so much more than Ira Reiner ever even knew about it.
Okay. We're going to be back. We want to show you, replay some of what the judge said, because he had his say yesterday.
I'm going to get sick.
We'll be back in a moment after this. We are back with Zsa Zsa Gabor. All right. Now, we want to play for you some of what the judge said. He had his day yesterday.
He sure did.
A lot of people, by the way, I was listening to the radio and the television this morning, a lot of people think he was in the right, that he did exactly what they would have done.
After you listen to the judge and to the district attorney, of course they were right, but they don't know that these people are working for politics. They want to be re-elected. And I'm just one little Hungarian woman who's by choice an American. I can be English, French, I can speak 6 languages. I don't have to be American. I'm American because I love it here, and I became American for that reason.
We're going to watch now what Judge Rubin had to say about what he considered to be...
I'm going to get sick.
All right, let's go.
Ms. Gabor, in this case, not only slapped the face of Officer Kramer out there on Olympic Boulevard, but by her vituperative and denigrating comments, she has verbally slapped the faces of almost every prosecution witness that appeared in this case. And she was not satisfied with that, but she turned around and slapped the face of every American by claiming that the United States is worse than communist Russia or Nazi Germany.
All right. Now,
my answer to the judge
that's a pretty strong statement.
And it's a libelous statement because I never said it. I said when I came out of the courthouse, because there was 2 policemen who was lying out the oath. The 3rd policeman came out and he said the truth, and he was telling on the oath the truth, but they didn't pay attention to the people who told the truth at all. I said...
Did you slap the face of America?
Well, this is the stupidest remark on the world. I love America. I can live in London, I can live in France, in Germany, in Rome, in Italy. I just came from the Vatican making a 2-hour special from Italy, then this thing happened.
But your remarks about what happened in the courtroom, he says, was a slap in the face.
Because he doesn't do his homework. I said the courtroom was like Nazi Hungary and communist Hungary. But he doesn't make his homework. He hears the jealous Beverly Hills women, his wife and his women telling...
You think he's prejudiced against you?
Well, he does not like me, but I used to like him beginning, but now he looks like he needs a blood transfusion. It was too tough on him, this case.
Right. Here's something else he had to say, and this was what his own personal feeling was about this case. Let's roll this next segment.
Now, it's clear to me, Ms. Gabor, that throughout you've had an ulterior motive in this trial. And you abused the legal system and the taxpayers who support it by milking this case for publicity. And I think that's exactly what you've done. And this was in furtherance of your personal gain. Just as a happenstance, I happened to see a television commercial this morning on the way to court where Ms. Gabor had a commercial involving an officer giving a ticket to a Rolls Royce.
It's not easy to be Zsa Zsa. Everybody picks on me. Take away my saber, take away my driver's license, but don't touch my wheel.
I felt that I will not consider it for sentencing, but it was rather offensive.
All right. Did you milk this for publicity? I mean,
I tell you how the whole thing started. 2 days, the Beverly Hills Police was on television until the media called me. Miss Gabor, you have to defend yourself. We are sick and tired of looking at the policeman's ugly face. It wasn't the one who hit me or that broke me up. Then your lady came up.
Lisa Lou.
Lisa Lou and said, Zsa Zsa...
One of our producers.
She said, Zsa Zsa, thank God it happened to you. The same thing happened to me. And then when they nearly beat me to death, they apologized, they made a mistake. Zsa Zsa, fight for the women who cannot be beaten up by Beverly Hills police.
But what about the publicity? Here, you did this commercial.
I done that. I needed to pay the lawyers. I got $10,000 for it, damn it. I mean, they milked the thing. I mean, I made it for $10,000, very underpaid. I should have not done it. I done the commercial after the, well, I was already...
You're sorry about doing the commercial.
I am. Why should I be sorry? I'm only sorry one thing. They photographed me very badly. Otherwise, why shall I be sorry? This is my livelihood. The judge, not the judge's livelihood, to put makeup on. And being that this time they forgot to put on makeup, but usually had makeup on, so did the little district attorney.
Had makeup on?
And the district and the others makeup on. They loved it. They milked it. I don't need it. I have a damn good career. I'm a rich woman. I don't need these people.
All right.
They needed me.
All right, here's part of the sentence that the judge handed down yesterday. And it's got a lot of people talking, and I'm sure there are going to be some jokes about it.
That's some.
But here's what they had to say about your community service.
You are to perform 120 hours of community service at the LIEU, that's L-I-E-U, second word C-A-P, Shelter for Homeless Women. You are to file completion of that community service with the court by March 30th, 1990. You are ordered not to comment to anyone at the shelter or to hold any media interviews concerning this case or anyone involved with it while at or near the LIEU shelter.
All right. Community service, 120 hours. I mean,
Honey,
that's
it's nothing for me. I do much more a year. I love it. As a matter of fact, I fed last Thanksgiving the homeless, and they all came up to me and kissed me and loved me. Zsa Zsa, you're the only person who understands me. But Mr. Ira Reiner said...
The district attorney. We have a picture, by the way. Well, I'll show it.
Yeah,
I'll show it. Of Ira Reiner, and you, by the way, that you say was taken after you were arrested.
6 days after I was beaten half to death. And he said in a dinner party, darling, don't worry. He saw my arms all swollen, my legs kicked. He kicked me with a Nazi boot. He said, we are going to take care of this. This same man now, because he wants to be re-elected, he bad-mouthed me. She says, I am afraid if she goes to... I have to finish that. If she goes to the homeless, she's going to behave like Marie Antoinette. Well, I wish he would make some homework. Marie Antoinette said, let the people eat cake. Now, Mr. Reiner, why don't you buy some cake for those poor homeless out of your own pocket, not of my taxpayers' money, and give it to them?
All right. He said, for instance, that those who live by the sword die by the sword.
He said that too?
Yeah.
Well, he might die by the sword because he double-crossed himself. I campaigned for Mr. Nixon.
All right.
I campaigned for Mr. Ford, Mr. Reagan, and Mr. Bush. And did they all come in? This time I'm going to campaign against him because he's not real.
All right. We'll be back in a moment. We have a lot more with you, Zsa Zsa. A lot more that the judge said, and a lot more we want to hear from you.
The judge is so full of shit. It's not a joke. Everybody picks on me. Take away my saber, take away my driver's license, but don't touch my wheel.
All right, Zsa Zsa. Judge Charles Rubin also had this as part of the sentence, and this is a little different. Watch what he had to say.
Now, I've been involved in the criminal law system for 23 years, and I've developed some familiarity with persons who display some psychological or emotional difficulties. I've observed a hyper or manic quality to Ms. Gabor's behavior that absolutely would not, and I repeat, not amount to a legal defense in this case, but that causes me concern about her possibly violating the terms of her probation. And therefore, as a term of probation, I'm ordering her to have at least one single interview with a medical doctor psychiatrist and to file proof with the court by December 29, 1989, that the doctor read the full arrest report in this case.
All right.
Well, maybe I should have my head examined. He's right. If I try to fight City Hall and the Beverly Hills police, a woman should have her head examined. But I fight for right, not for...
But you're going to go to this medical doctor. There's going to be a psychiatric evaluation.
So what? Last time I had last time I had a psychiatrist talking to me, in the middle of the thing, he said, Zsa Zsa, what shall I do with my life? I'm so unhappy. Do you think I have to divorce my wife? And for that, I had to pay $150.
Now, I read something about your ex-husband, late husband, George Sanders.
Yes.
He had a lot to say about you. He said that you're in effect, spontaneous and you're of whole cloth and you put everything into your life and he kind of liked that.
He also said that that I don't deserve the treatment what the press gives to me. He did say that.
Well, why do you think that you're a victim? Zsa Zsa,
I am not a victim.
You create a lot of this yourself. I mean, you're rather outrageous.
I tell you what, maybe I'm outrageous. I don't think so. I'm Hungarian, which is already outrageous. Then I have a sense of humor which most people hate because they like to take themselves seriously. Either I am the good, she's the bad. There's no black and white around here. You have to take life a little easy.
You keep talking about this DA. It sounds like he's going to be... He's on your hit list, it seems.
Well, he wants my head, but I will have his head. That's the difference. So he's not on my hit list. He's not good enough on my hit list. I need a person who is equal to me. This man is
You're
not
going to
equal
appeal
to
this, aren't you?
I don't know, that depends on my lawyer if he wants to appeal it. If I go to jail, I don't mind it. I would like to see some of the ladies. I bet with you there are lots of people innocent like me who's going to sit in jail because maybe they beat their husband up, they try to protect their children.
What about that comment you made about lesbians and you...
Honey, I see television and say lesbian. I have a million lesbian friends in England, in France, in Germany, America. I love lesbians. Everybody in this world has a right to live their own life. Nobody will give you back this day. Tomorrow it's another day. If you die, who will give you back that day? If she wants to be a lesbian, gay, let them be.
We straighten that out. We'll be back in a moment. More with Zsa Zsa Gabor after this.
It's really true, though.
A beautiful woman is distinct by her perfume scent. And tonight, Zsa Zsa will be very distinctive. All part of the exciting image that she's created and lives, making her one of the most provocative women in the world.
We have a lot more with Zsa Zsa, but first, let's see what's on a current affair on our next edition.
I love people. I really do love people. I think suffering brings out the best and the worst in you. It intensifies what you are. You have to move through it. I keep visualizing the future. Today is yesterday's future.
Jill Ireland, a woman of courage.
That's on our next edition of A Current Affair. Now then, Prosecutor
kept on calling me an old lady. He wanted to destroy my career. He said that was the only performance I ever gave. He called me a liar, which I am allergic to. I never lie. Maybe I tell too much the truth, which is not always healthy, but I do that. But I tell you one thing. The judge said that I slept whole America.
Right.
How would whole America like to have his wife, his mother, his daughter run into this officer and have him practically kill her for an expired driver's license? I didn't sleep America. I help America to open their eyes to the police brutality.
Well, now, as we said in the beginning, it ended up being the slap heard round the world.
I know that. They called me from Australia, Paris, London. Actually, they say I should have scratched his eyes out, but he has too good-looking eyes. I wouldn't have done that.
Yes, good-looking eyes, the officer.
Green eyes. Yeah, he does.
You're like, so with everything you said about him,
I didn't.
All these things that, you've described him as a very,
tough, macho, gorgeous. I always said he's gorgeous. He's very handsome. He's giving autographs on Rodeo Drive. The women come up and
he's giving autographs on Rodeo Drive.
He's going to be a movie star. He wants to have a career, I suppose. And the judge said I ruined his reputation. He ruined his reputation much before he met me.
And if I told you that we took a poll and everybody probably thought that the judge was right in the sentence, what would you say?
Then I say everybody's wrong and I'm right, but that happens so many times. It's my family, with everybody. I'm accustomed to it.
All right. Now, I know one fellow who knows that you're right. And he's your man, and he's standing by you. The prince, right?
Well, because he's
Prince Frederick, nice to have you with us.
Come down on our level.
All right. You said at one time you would serve the time.
Well, I would love to serve the time.
But
if I could do it.
He wants to be with all these women, I say.
No, she doesn't deserve it. She really doesn't.
I don't know. Sometimes I do deserve jail. Not innocent.
This is a political game. Believe me, it's a political game. They put her in jail. They use her case, for political gain.
What do your wife... she is going to be, excuse the expression, the butt of many a joke now, and has been
I always
for the
have, all my life. I don't mind that.
You never minded that.
Why should I mind it? They put in a terrible picture with me like boobs like that. Zsa Zsa thinks she's running from the lesbians. I don't run of the lesbians. They're my friends.
What did you think of the T-shirts that said "Free Zsa Zsa"?
That was put out before I was even put into jail, or whatever they do to me now. It's not a big
Are you beginning to visualize what jail is going to be like?
I am looking forward. My painter said he wants to paint it pink for me. And so they're saying, Bistro Garden wants to send the food, Giuseppe and the Italian restaurant wants to send, and the German restaurant, they want to send every day different
What happens if you're just going to get the same treatment that every other prisoner is? And you're going to have to eat the same food
I would love that, but I read it in one of the newspapers. They're serving lasagna, and lasagna is very fattening, girl. We should not eat it. They said, give me salad or carrots. I don't cook it. Just no raw fish. I don't eat that.
Okay. I usually say, when I end the show, until next time, America. I mean, would you like to say something at the end here, Zsa Zsa?
I want to say one thing. America, I love you. I'm an American by choice. I don't have to be American. I work in London, Paris, Germany. I speak 7 languages. I am here because I love it.
How about until next time, darling?
How about next time, darling?